Namaste, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. My name is Anjali. I'm from Canada, and I'm very honored to be teaching for Dharma Yoga Italy, the Dharma home. So thank you so much, Alfonsina, for inviting me to practice on this Zoom channel with your students and with the Dharma Yoga family in general. So let's begin with the Om. Imagine that it has all the colors and vibrations of the universe. Fix your mind on God alone. Rest your mind in God alone. And in God you will live hereafter. Of this there is no doubt. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free from suffering, and enjoy this practice through our senses. May we acquire a strong desire for liberation from the ignorance that binds us to pain and suffering. And may we cherish no ill feelings against each other. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So let's begin with some warm-up exercises just to prepare the body for the practice. So let's come to standing. We'll just work through a whole body warm up and do some sun salutations, and we'll get into the hips and the hamstrings. That's the focus of this workshop. So let's start to roll the head in circles. From here on in, just pretend you're the witness watching the body moving. Move as though you're seeing your body moving in a dream, always fluid, always in a way that is soft. No jerky motions, no hard, aggressive movements that incur pain. Roll the head in the other direction. Try to make the ears touch the shoulders. And then arm circles, right arm first. Start to circle it forward. And then back. And then left arm, circle forward. Remember to respect your limitations, move according to your condition and your comfort level. And then circle back. And then bring both hands in front of the body and circle in opposite directions. Don't think too much about it, but just open your mind to new experiences. And then switch directions. Left arm up now. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bend to the right. And then coming back up. Try not to create fold in the right side of the body as you lean. Inhale, come up, make like grass blowing in the wind. Nice and smooth motions. And then come up and bend again. Last time, inhale, come up. This time, hold the breath. So you can go a little bit deeper. Stretch out the left arm. Lift the right side of the body again. Try to take the folds out of the underside of the body. And then exhale, come back. Right arm up, bend to the left on the exhale. And then coming back. And then again, lean. Reach up. Don't worry about the breath. Just move in a way that allows the breath to stay uniform and even. And then the breath will deliver more fluidity to the movements and ease. Come up and bend. One more time. Inhale, come up. This time hold the breath and see if you can go a little bit deeper into this stretch. Exhale, come back. Now from here, we're just going to allow the shoulders to move the body from side to side. And we start to go a little bit faster. A little bit faster, and then just really shake it up. Start to loosen, a little slow down again. And then coming back to stillness. Next one, breath of joy. So we're going to do the first three movements on an inhale. Last one is done an exhale through the mouth. It looks like this. Swing up, swing out to the side, swing up, exhale down. Do it with me now. Do it with exuberance to make it live up to the name. Breath of joy. Inhale, 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 exhale. Last one. Stay down, just allow the body to stop bouncing. And then roll your way back up. Next one, a lot of you know this, lion's breath. So you're coming into a squat, just go as far as you can, depending on your knees. You allow your eyes to go wide and cross and your tongue to hang out. So make a big form of a lion face. It's good for releasing tension. 8 times. Last one, and come up. Good. Now shake up the wrists, fast as you can. Finger hands from side to side. Fingers are moving by themselves. And then up and down, flap your hands like wings of a hummingbird. Good. Now we're going to bring the arms up over the head, interlace the fingers, inhale, rise up off the heels. Then coming back down, rock back on the heels, inhale, lift up on your toes, and come back on your heels, press up to the base of the toes, push up to the base of the heels, your palms, and back down, lift your toes, come up, lift the heels, and lift the toes. Last time, inhale, come up, dig the heels down, lift the toes, and release. Bring the arms down now, and let's advance to the front of the mat. The hands to the heart center, close the eyes. Remember, better than practice, even better than meditation, is to renounce all the fruits of the actions. Do the practice because it must be done for all beings everywhere. So let's move together as one to stay in the collective mind. Surya Namaskara. Raise your arms up over the head, stretch up and back, come down, fold the body down on top of the legs. Right foot back into lunge, lower the knees, sink down to the seat. Come into high plank, lower down knees, chest and chin. Glide forward into your cobra, raise the chest. Come all the way back, seat behind the heels. Come forward again, brush the nose to the ground as you come forward. Lift the head, bring the chest forward. All the way back into child's pose. One last time. Come forward, raise the head, lift the chest, and back. Bend the toes under and push your way up into downward facing dog. Right foot steps forward to the hands. Feet together, Uttanasana. Chest to the thighs, head down. Come all the way up. Arch back if you feel comfortable. Hands to the heart. Come up again. Move like you're doing a dance gracefully. Hands down. Bend your knees if you need to get your hands flat. Left foot back, knee down. Into plank. Lower the knees down and bring the seat all the way back. Again, come forward 3 times. Imagine you're a wave on the ocean. Starting out flat, and when the head comes up, it's like the wave cresting. And all the way back. One last time. Come forward smoothly. And back. Bend the toes under and push your hips. Straighten your legs, downward facing dog. Left foot steps forward to the hands. Sink down to the seat. Uttanasana. Body against the thighs, head down. Come all the way up. Hands back to the heart. And reach up again. Come down. Right foot back. Lower the knee. Into the plank. Ashtanga Namaskara. Knees, chest, and chin down. Chest a little bit behind the hands. Glide forward. Come up into Cobra. Right back. Adho Mukha Sivanasana. Melt the heart. Right foot steps forward to the hands. Feet come together. Uttanasana. Come up and back. Return home. And again. Go down. Keep watching the body moving gracefully. Left foot back. Into the plank. And down. Come forward into the Cobra. Adho Mukha Sivanasana. Left foot steps. Right foot joins. Pull the body in towards the legs. And come up. Reach up and back. Hands back to the heart. Adding on now. Arms up over the head. Come down. So bend your knees. You can bring your chest on your thighs. Interlace the fingers. Inhale. Push the chest towards the knees. Exhale. Use the body to push the legs back. And to get a little bit deeper into pose, see if you can wiggle your chest down as though you're trying to get your chest beyond your knees. And then see if you can lift your seat so you feel a stretch in the backs of the legs. So starting right, so ready to go, working on the hamstrings. Reach the head towards the ground. If you can bring your forehead to the shins. And then bring the hands back down. Step the right foot back, lower the knee down. Swing your arms up, Kapiyasana. Arch the back, bring the chest forward, belly button forward, and the chest up. Now bring the hands down. Plant the hands, bend the toes under on the right foot. Come all the way into one-legged dog. Raise the left leg up. So lift the right heel. Exhale, push the right heel down. Inhale again, lift up. If you need to bend the raised leg, you can. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, pull the heel down. You feel a stretch in the back of the legs. Now we're going to come forward, shoulders over the wrists. Keep the leg up as you come down. Bend the elbows, bring the chest down to the ground. And then bring the foot down alongside the one. Come up into Cobra.
Nico.
Go back into down facing dog.
Sì, ho visto.
Can you hear me?
No, se devo fare yoga.
Okay.
No, dimmi.
Please, Justine, there is someone that has the phone on. If you could play in mute.
Prima che faccio.
If you place in mute.
Okay, I'm just going to take a look right now.
Mute all, yeah.
Okay, I think we're all good.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay. All right, sorry about that. So now we're stepping the right foot forward into your lunge, arms up over the head. Bring the hands back down. Slide your left foot in to meet the right foot. Inhale, extend through the chest, bend the knees, bring the arms back behind the back. Exhale again, push the body against the legs, lift the seat, the head down. Bring the hands back down onto the back. Swing your arms all the way up over the head. Return home. One more like that. Extend the arms over the head. Come down. into a forward fold. Bend the butt, fold the body in half. Bend the knees, interlace the fingers behind the back. Inhale, push the chest towards the knees. Exhale, use the body to push the legs further back. If your body starts to detach from the legs, keep your knees bent. If you're more flexible, try to lift the seat until you stretch again in the backs of the legs. Forehead to the shins if you can, if you like, as well. And bring the hands down. Good. Left foot steps back this time. Back knee down. Kapiyasana. Bring the arms up over the head. Arch the back. And bring the hands down. Bend the toes under on the left foot. Push into your hands. Come back into one-legged dog. Extend the left leg up again. Bend the knee if you have the right knee if you need to. Inhale, lift the heel. Exhale, drop the left heel down. Inhale again, lift. And down again. If you want to straighten the leg, this is what it looks like. Inhale, lift the heel. Exhale, as you drop the heel, you feel the stretch in the backs of the legs. Then come forward, shoulders over the wrists. Keep the leg up. And the chest comes down first to the ground. The toes come together. Come up into upward, into cobra. Back into downward facing dog. Left foot steps forward in lunge, back knee down. Inhale, raise the arms up over the head. Bring the hands down and slide the back foot and lift the left hip to make room for the foot to step together, the feet to step together. Fold down, chest to the thighs, interlace the fingers behind the back. Push the chest to the knees, exhale. Come down with your head, lift the seat. Bring the hands back down onto the back, and then as you come up, swing the arms forward and all the way over the head. Bring the hands back to the heart. Standing tall in Pranamasana, inhale from the heart to the third eye. Exhale back down to the heart. Establish yourself deep within your own divinity, in the hearts of all beings. And release. So the way I like to approach these workshops is just work progressively through the postures that incorporate sort of like these stretches through the hamstrings and the hips. So it's like we're doing a normal practice, but we concentrate a little bit more in those areas of focus, and I give you a few tips as we go along. Okay, so that way we're working the rest of the body too. It's not just focused just on the hips. Okay, so we're going to come up now. Press the hips forward, reach the arms up over the head, and then come down. So bend the knees, wrap your arms around the legs. Take hold of the opposite elbows, and then keep the chest with your thighs as you start to again move into Uttanasana. You try to lift the seat as much as you can. And if you need to, you just wiggle. You try to get your chest further forward as you try to get beyond the knees. And then if you're more flexible, you can see if you can pull the forearms down the backs of the legs towards the ankles. Some of you are very flexible and no limits in your hamstrings, so you can lift your seat, straighten the legs all the way, and maybe bring your forehead to the shins. So work according to your condition. If you need to, you keep your knees bent. So just take a few breaths in this pose. Visualize the top of the head coming to rest right on top of your feet. So a lot of these times poses to get deeper in, it's sometimes just a visualization that helps you to deepen in the posture. Like this. All right. Now from here, bring the hands down, step back with the right foot, lower the knee down. Kind of soften, uncurl the toes, inhale, come up, exhale, sink down to the seat. Try to get your seat as low as possible. So ideally you want to have your seat right close to the front heel. Good, now bend the toes under and then lift the knee up off the ground and push back through the heel. Keep your hips forward, your chest up. Good, and when you Press into the toes and bring the heel back. This you feel a stretch in the back of the leg. If you feel steady, bring the arms up. Kapiyasana. Join the hands together, wiggle the shoulders. Keep your seat low. This is what helps keep your balance, and bring arms back. Of course, at any point if you need to, just bring your knee down, but keep pressing back through the heel. Keep your body lifting up out of the hips. And then bring the hands down. Good. Now we're going to switch sides. So tucking the fingertips, bring the right foot forward. Back knee down. Take a moment to just uncurl the toes and bring your seat all the way forward to the front heel. And then from here, bend the toes under and push back to the heel. If you can, raise the knee up off the ground. You can steady yourself with your hands. Bring them to the front knee if you like. And you can keep them there the whole time. Or if you feel comfortable, raise your arms up and back. Wiggle the shoulders again, find the shape of a crescent moon. Keep pushing back to the heels. It's a little bit of a different variation from the Kapiyasana that we see in the Dharma flow. And then come back down. Good. Bring the back knee down. Set knees together. And from here, left foot forward again. Bend the toes under, turning into Sukha Virabhadrasana. Turn to the side, hands level with the shoulders. Now from here, we're coming down to Sukha Trikonasana. Left hand down, the right arm up. Push the left shoulder against the knee. The right arm comes up. The chest is facing forward. I mean, like I'm just completely flat, shoulders stacked. I'll do it this way so you can see. Now, if you want to go deeper, you can lift the body up a little bit, slip your right hand behind and slip it into the space in your body and your thigh. You either press your hand into your thigh, roll the right shoulder back, keep the left shoulder against the knee. Or if you want, you can go deeper. Lower the left shoulder so that it's a little bit below the line of the knee, and the left arm can come all the way underneath. And then you join your hands together. Either you take your fingers in a lock or the left hand holds the right wrist. Pull the right shoulder back. Now keep pressing the shoulder into the knee. So opening up the hips here. If you want to go further, you look down, you bring your weight into the front foot, bend the toes under and the back foot, lift the knee up off the ground. You try to raise your right hip as much as possible, and eventually you just try to straighten the left leg as well. Do it gradually. Keep pressing the back of the body against the leg, the left shoulder against the knee. The head stays down. If it's too much to take a bind, you again have the option of taking a half bind and maybe taking your left hand to the foot. Turning your chest up. Now from here, we're starting to break the pose. Roll the right shoulder down. Bring the hands on either side of the foot. Let's go into pyramid since we're here. Lift the right heel. Bring the foot out a little bit to the right so that your feet are not right in front of one another. There's like hip width apart. Toes are slightly pointy, angled out. Inhale, reset the shoulders. Pull the left hip back. You want to have your hips even with one another, flush with the front end of the mat. Exhale, fold over the leg. Again, you want to have the sensation you're just trying to bring the chest towards the knee. Exhale, use a weight to the leg, the body to press into your leg to feel a deeper stretch in the back of the thigh. So just use the breath. Remember, your attention is like a magnet. I'm sure some of you have heard Dharma say that before, and the teachers. Your attention is like a magnet. Wherever you bring your focus is where the prana goes. Now from here, we're going to switch legs again. So bring the left foot back, the right foot forward, lower the back knee down. Inhale, come up. So returning to the left now, extend the arms up to the side, Sukha Virabhadrasana. do it this angle so you can see it from another way. And now from here, Sukha Trikonasana. Bring the right hand down, do with my shoulder again, press against the inside of the knee, left arm up. Try to see if you can press the left hip open. You can use your hand actually to pull at the left hip, pull it back. So you're trying to imagine your left hip is right over the knee here. And to take a half bind or a full bind, lift up a little bit. You can either slip your hand behind and into your thigh, press into your thigh to open up the knee, keep it over the foot, or lower the shoulder down so it's around the same line of the knee, so you can take your whole arm around. Left arm comes around. You can either take your fingers in a bind, or if it's accessible, reach for the wrist with your right hand on your left arm. Walk your hand further up the arm if you can. Left shoulder again pushes back so it's over the other one, the bottom one. And if you like, look towards your front foot, make sure the toes are bent under the back foot, lift the back knee up off the ground, come into a triangle, a bound triangle. Pull the left hip back, try to keep on pressing the back of the shoulder into the knee. Take a modification as you need to. With your hands, your right hand on the ankle and your left hand just in the hip crease. Lift the left shoulder if you're doing this version. One more breath, extend through the top of the head, either towards the ground or out in front. Exhale, roll the left shoulder back again. And then release the bind. If you have the bind, turn forward. Bring the hands on either side of the foot. Lift the left heel and step the foot out a little bit so that they're hip width apart horizontally. Inhale, pull the right hip back in line with the left hip. Exhale, fold over the leg. Allow the chest to slide down the knee. Keep the back of the neck long. Keep visualizing all the areas where you want to find release and take your attention there. Visualizing your mind, the muscles stretching and releasing. Good, beautiful, everyone. Okay, now bring the back foot in to meet the front foot, the front foot to meet the back foot. Come down onto the knees again, both knees. All right, so from here, we're coming into a twist. Left leg forward, bend the toes under, right arm up. Do it this way. Now we're going to pull the elbow across the body to the left, get the armpit against the knee. And then you can either form a fist with your left hand, push it right in the palm of the left hand, push it right in the palm of the right hand. Raise the body up. You want to have your belly higher in the thigh so that you have room to spin. Inhale, pull the left hip back, extend head forward. Exhale, turn up so the chest and the face are up. Those of you who have a bind, go ahead. Your left arm goes all the way around the back. Move the hips back. Your elbow has to be in a space underneath the knee so you can join your hands underneath the belly. And then from here, again, if you want to work the hips and the hamstrings a little bit, lift the back knee up off the ground and push back through that back heel. Inhale, send the left hip back, the head forward. Exhale, roll a little bit deeper into the pose. Push, keep pushing through the back heel. Keep the back of the knee pressing up towards the sky. Good. Breath by breath, go deeper. Nice. Try to have your center of the chest come to the thumbs. So keep raising the body up so you're not obstructed by your leg. If your body is lower than the leg, your hands are close to the shoulder, it's an indication to try to lift your body up higher. Okay. Good. And break the pose. Bring down your hands. change sides. The right foot forward, left arm up, and then reach across to the right. The armpit is right close to the thigh. Form a fist with the right hand. Push down in your left palm and raise the body up so the center of the chest comes behind the hands, and then roll the right shoulder all the way back. So your body's kind of obstructed, most of the chest is underneath the thigh. It's going to be hard to spin to get the full rotation. So this is why you lift the body up a little bit more. And again, if you like, lift the back knee up off the ground, press through the back heel. Keep the leg active. Move the right hip back. Try to get long on the side by the head forward, and then roll the right shoulder back. Take a bind if you like. Again. Work according to your level. Visualize yourself in the pose. Just do your best to get there. Come out of the pose, back knee down. Bring your hands down to the ground, change legs again. So your left foot is in front again. Lizard. So this is a really good hip opener here. You bring your hands to the inside of the foot, move the foot to the outside of the mat. So you want to have your foot over the knee. If your foot is too close, the knee tends to fall away from the shoulder. But for this version of the pose, you want to have your knee close to the shoulder. And then you just go back and forth, pushing off the roots of your toes. Okay, trying to get your hips to sink down with each pass. And then pull the right heel back as far back as you can, lower the knee, flatten out the toes. And now just sink down. You can bring your hands, your left hand onto your left side of the feet, and just press down and pull down. So as though you're trying to pull the tail right under. Right, if you can, you roll to the right a little bit. Do it this way so you can see. If your shoulder's on the same height as the knee or lower, it will be easier to roll to the right and get your right forearm down, and then you roll back to the left and your left forearm down. And then again, we hug the knee against the shoulder and keep dropping down through the hips. So you try to get the front of the right hip down, and you want to try to bring the left side of the feet down as well. Sometimes your hip is way up. You want to have your hips more even. So drop the left side of the feet a little bit. Imagine you have a big weight resting right on top of your seat, and it's pressing down, bearing weight on the body, so that eventually the body comes down lower. Of course, if you're very flexible, you might be able to get your chest on the ground. So you inhale, pull. Whether you're doing on your hands or your forearms, pull the chest forward. Exhale. Keep on imagining that you have all the weight in your hips anchoring you down, pulling you down to the ground. One more breath. Reach forward to the chest a little bit more. Exhale again. Press down through the front of the hip, the right hip, and press down to the left side of the seat. And now we're going to come up onto your hands, bend the toes under, and just roll onto your right hip. So your left knee is still in front of the body. You turn the inside of the foot edge up. Bring your thumb to the inside of the hip crease, and just roll the knee outwards, the thigh outwards. Okay. So when you pull, you bring your hand to your thigh, to the top of your thigh, and roll it outwards. And when you do this, the hip drops, the left hip drops, and your left side of the body lengthens. Now, if you can go deeper, you can try to bring the knee up first a little bit, bring the back foot up, hold the foot, and pull it towards the seat. And you just try to extend. Imagine you're lengthening the knee so it goes to the back end of the mat. Pull the left shoulder back. and release. So one more stretch here before we move on. Bring your seat, actually a couple. Bring your hands back in line with the foot. Draw the left hip back so it's over the knee. So lift the left toes up, bring one hand on the outside, and then again, bring the body down on the leg. It's much like pyramid pose. Some people call this runner's stretch. Those who can bring the forearms down on the ground. Bring your attention to the base of the spine and just feel the spine growing long all the way to the top of the head. Now come back, lift your chest, bring your hands to the inside. I'll do it this way so you can sort of see. Bend the toes under on the back foot. Now you want to move the left foot towards the left top corner of the mat. So you're sliding out at a diagonal. You keep pressing to the base of the toes to the back foot and you drop. You roll the right thigh inwards. So you just bring your hands in front of the right hip. And as you inhale, you pull the heel in, the left heel in, you push to the toes. It's as though you're trying to scrunch up the mat between your feet. And as you exhale, you yield a little bit. You drop the hips a little bit, the seat down a little bit more. And you imagine you're stretching the mat between your feet. Okay, so we'll do another angle so you can see. Your hands are on the inside here. You drop the right hip forward. Inhale, pull the feet in towards another. Using your toes and the heel. Exhale, you stretch the mat with your feet. You drop the right hip towards the ground. Do this a couple more times. Inhale, pulse mindfully and yield a little bit more with the exhale. And now lean forward, press into your hands, push hard the heels of the palms, drag the left heel back, change sides, starting again in lizard. So the right foot is this way, the right foot is forward. Walk the foot out to the edge of the mat, and again, push back and forth. Trying to get your hips come down lower with each pass. Keep visualizing in your mind. And then perhaps the body will obey, will just realize what you're trying to see in your imagination. Just do your best. And then push back through the left heel one more time, lower the knee, flatten out the toe, and start to make your way down by rolling to the left a little bit, bring the left forearm down. And if that goes okay, you can get your right forearm down, roll to the right, get the right forearm down. Bring the knee back towards the shoulder, inhale. Pull the floor towards you with your arms as you reach the chest forward. Exhale, concentrate again on getting the front of the hip down, the right side seat down. Push on the seat with your right hand, pull down. So guide more length into the lower back and the seat. Feel heavy through the hips. Coming down lower and lower. Some of you might be able to get the chest on the ground. Make sure that the right hip doesn't come up too high. The hip should be more or less even. Use your breath to take the edge off. And from here, we're going to move into the more of a hip opener. So we're going to roll more onto your left hip and come down on the forearm if it might be a little more comfortable, and then just bring your right thumb to the right hip crease, push into the hip crease, and then roll the thigh down so the hip drops a little bit. The knee comes out to the side. As you do this, pull the body up out of the hips. So inhale, stretch the body out of the hips. Exhale, roll the thigh out a little bit more. Knee drops towards the ground. Now you might find that this already gives you enough of an edge. If you feel comfortable, if you don't have any issues with your knees, you lift the back foot up, take hold of the foot, And you try to pull the foot towards the hip at the same time dropping the knee. So you raise the inner edge of the foot, the right foot. This is more of a stretch for the left quad. You might not feel as much in the hip when you're doing this variation. It's okay. Roll the right shoulder back. And then release the foot. So from here, we're coming back into runner stretch. Pull the hips back. Hip is aligned over the back knee. Lift the toes up off the ground. Reset the shoulders. And then again, allow your body to come down onto your leg. Keep on creeping your chest forward so that your weight of the body can help for releasing the hamstring. Feel the stretch in the base of the spine all the way up to the back, right to the top of the head. Couple more breaths here. And then come forward in that diagonal stretch. So bend the toes under the back foot. Bring your hands in front of your body, just in front of the hips here, on the fingertips. Slide your right heel out beyond the right front edge of the mat. And you want to pull the right hip back and drop the left hip forward. So the left thigh is rolling inwards. You drop the seat, but you just try to keep the right hip back. Okay. Inhale again. Squeeze the front heel back and push through the base of the toes. So imagine you're scrunching the mat between your feet. Exhale. Pull in opposite directions as though you're trying to stretch the mat. And do this a few times. Lift the hip. Exhale. Yield a little bit more. Go down very gradually, very mindfully. Just watch the body moving, softening into the pose. Then press into your hands, pull with your hands, and bring the front foot back. Come into child's pose for a moment, but as you widen your knees and sit your hips, your heels, your seats back on your heels, just bring your belly between your thighs, forehead down. Balasana, baby pose. Inhale. Push with the heels, your palms, as if you're trying to push the floor away from you. Draw the seat way back. Legs in the spine. Exhale, just soften. Forehead to the ground. And then walk your hands towards the body. All right, so the next one can be intense. Frog pose. So we're going to turn sideways so that your knees are facing along the edge of the mat. You ideally want to open up your feet so the heels are on the same line as the knees. So your shins are parallel to one another. So you just try to drop your seat down between your knees. If you're more flexible, now do this mindfully, know your limitations. You can try to bring your seat back a little bit more. So walk your hands towards you and try to bring your seat back. You don't want to have your tailbone sticking up though. You want to curl it down. You want to eventually bring your seat down as far as you can. Come onto the forearms. Your toes are splayed out to the side. And you just, breath by breath, you just try to sit in the pose and be still in the pose. So think of a frog when it's swimming, and you just try to find the shape with your body. Your legs are nice and wide. If your seat starts to stick up again, tuck the tail a little bit. If you need to come in a little bit, so just, give yourself a little bit of wiggle room. Start a shorter stance, and then gradually you can allow your knees to go out. If it's too much, you can bring your toes towards one another. Okay, then it becomes more like baby pose. And you still get more of a better stretch in baby pose by bringing your seat back behind the knees, the line of the knees. So move according to your condition. Now we're starting to come back. Bring your hands towards the body. And one knee at a time in. Good. So just shake out the legs a little, walk your hands forward underneath your shoulders in table pose. Bring the right leg back and just push back and forth off the ball of the foot. And from here, we're going to swing the right leg up and then swing it out to the side. And up to the side. Try not to allow the foot to drop below the line of the hip. Up, side, swing it up, side. 2 more. And back down. And then the other leg now. Extend the left foot back, press into the toes, and push back through the heel. Back and forth, shoulders over the wrists, and then the shoulders move behind the wrists. Stretch at the back of the left leg. Then come up again, raise the left leg up, and then swing it forward. So keep going a few times. This is very much like if you're holding a leg and you're doing it like this. It's the same idea, but you have more stability, right? Okay, a few more times. And then come back down. Rest in child's pose for a moment. Just breathe in. Breathe out. Good. We're going to roll our way up now. Now the next pose. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see. Give it a try. So if you happen to have a wall, I'll just introduce this idea. If you don't have a wall near you, then, you know, at least you'll know, like when you practice on your own, you'll have an idea of how you do it. So you would go to the wall. I wonder if I could do it here. Yeah, maybe this. I'm going to close this off a little bit. Just a second. Okay, so I'm placing myself in front of the wall. I'm bringing my leg up the wall. I wonder if I can turn the camera a little bit more. Okay. So what the idea is, you place your hands on the floor and you bring one leg up the wall. So you're bending toes under and you're stretching up as high as you can. Okay, so eventually you push into your hands, you walk your hands towards the wall and you lift, you push into your hand. You can even lift your whole foot up off the ground and place the base of toes right close to the wall. And then you start to bring the heel down. And you try to get the standing leg right against the wall. So it's like you're doing a split. Okay, hope you can see that. The toes are bent under on the wall, the raised leg. And then to intensify it, you keep lifting your heel, slide your toes in as far as you can so that when the heel comes down, it's right against the wall. And then you can see if you can bring your forehead to your shin. Okay. So if you don't have a wall near you, you can just try it just with your leg in the air. But yeah, the idea is to just try to get as close to the wall as possible so your leg, your standing leg, your supporting leg is right against the wall. That's it, nice. Try to straighten out the leg that you're standing on as much as possible. Lift your Lift your hip a little bit more, Anne-Marie. That's it. Beautiful. Good. Walk your hands in right close to the foot too if you can. Yeah. Okay? Good. All right. If you haven't already, switch sides. Walk your hands back out and make your way back up. So start away from the wall and then bring your foot onto the wall. Keep sliding your foot up the wall and then push into your hands and drag your supporting foot, or you can lift your foot up completely and just bring your foot right against as close as possible to the wall. Push into reach your toes, lift the heel, and then when you bring your heel down, that's when you'll feel the stretch. Nice. Dharma home. Good. Beautiful. See if you get your forehead to come right onto your shin. Beautiful. Sylvia, try to get your the hip up that you're standing on, try to lift your hip a little bit, okay? So you can straighten the leg, try to have your hips a little bit more even, that's it, okay? Good, yeah. All right. One more try, see if you can push your root against the wall as much as you can. And when you're ready, start to walk your hands away from the wall and come down. Good. Rest in child's pose for a moment. Breathe in. Breathe out. And then roll your way up. Okay, so now that we've done that on the wall, now we can try Hanumanasana. So it's the same idea. Let's bring the right foot forward first, bend the toes under and the back foot. Now you start off in Ardha Hanumanasana with your hip over the knee. We did this before. And then you come forward as though you're doing your equestrian lunge. And then it helps if you actually come forward so that the front heel, when it slides, is not on the mat, otherwise it gets stuck. So bring your hips forward. You want to try to bring your hands back in line with your hips, otherwise you're always coming forward, leaning over. So you try to bring your shoulders over the hips. And then again, you get the, you keep pulsing the way that I showed you before, you know, when you're trying to squeeze a mat between your front heel and your back toes, you're just trying to scrunch up the mat between your feet. Exhale. You're pushing in with your front heel and the back base of the toes so that you stretch the mat between your feet, and you just work progressively this way. Now some of you are already very flexible. If you already have a Hanumanasana, you can do different expressions of the pose. So you move your hands to the inside, bring the back knee up, and you can take the foot alongside the hip. You try to extend back through the back knee, the left knee in this case, towards the back end of the mat. And then you bring your heel, your palm, you spin it on the toes, so you can wrap your fingers around the front of the toes, and you try to pull the foot down. Okay, let's give you a little bit more of a stretch. Press through the base of the big toe, especially on the front foot. Now from here, start to come forward. Bring your chest onto your thigh. If you'd rather, you can go to the inside. Bring your elbow to the inside of the thigh. Be very flexible. You can extend your arms down. Try to roll the left hip down. You might have to move your right foot out a little to the side so that you don't roll way over to the left. So bring your right foot out a little bit to the right so that you can come down. Keep pulling the right hip back. Exhale. Start to bring your chest down to the ground. Keep trying to bring your chest forward. Imagine trying to get the top of the head to go beyond the foot. Stay higher, of course, if you need to, on your forearms or on your hands. Okay. And then release, push into your hands, drag the foot back. Try it on the other foot. Bend the toes under, rock back and forth, trying to get your hips as low as possible to the front heel. Bounce forward if you need to, so you can, when your foot slides, it's off the mat. And again, do that pulsing action. So if you can't get all the way down, that's okay. You can bring your blocks underneath and place them underneath the thighs if you have those accessories. And get the sensation of just trying to be supported. You'll be supported underneath the leg, and your shoulders can lift so that you have a little bit of support. Okay, so. I had a block, I'm not sure where it went. Oh, here it is. So you can bring the block underneath your thigh and just practice staying upright. Okay. Again, if you want, you can pull the back knee up. This is if you're on the ground. Beautiful Hanumanasana, you want more of a stretch, you bring the back foot up and then bring the foot alongside the hip. And your orientation to view it. Reach back and then bring the foot in and try to bring the foot alongside the hip. Extend back through the right knee. Good. Think about lengthening in the quad. And slowly release. Now pull the left hip back and line the right hip as best as you can. And start to come down onto the front leg. Again, if you have the block underneath your thigh, if you're not all the way down, support with the block underneath your leg. Bring your body down, or if you're very far down already, you're flat on the ground, move the left foot out a little bit so that when you come forward, you don't just fall over to the right. So you try to have your arms close and reach forward. Extend forward, imagine you're trying, telescope your chest forward, imagine you're trying to get the top of the head to go beyond the foot. Nice. Keep elongating your lines. Nice, Sarah. Beautiful. Okay, now let's come back. Walk your way back up. Again, rest in child's pose. Breathe in. Breathe out. Roll your way up. Okay, so bring your legs out in front. We'll work on our hips a little bit now, opening up the hips to prepare them for lotus, because lotus comes up in so many poses and it makes your meditation a little bit, like if you can get into lotus in some of the poses, it brings about even another level in your pose. So we're just going to come, slide your left foot in, lean back, cross the right leg over. So your foot is beyond the edge to the knee. Come forward again, walk forward until you can come right up to your, pressing into your fingertips and your back is straight. And from here, You just try to drop your left seat size hip down as much as you can. Pull the left knee in and push the right knee away from the chest. It's a little bit like a same feeling that you get for pigeon pose. Inhale, lift through the chest. Exhale, squeeze in through the left and press out through the right knee. You're trying to get the right thigh to come. It should be flush. The whole leg should be flush with the body. And now lower the seat down. Roll onto the back. From here, you just lace your right hand between your legs, interlace your fingers behind the left knee, and again, you pull in the knee towards, left knee towards the body, using your right elbow to push against the left thigh. And again, you're trying to push the knee away from the chest. But as you pull the left knee in, of course, the leg's going to come closer anyways, right leg. You want to intensify the stretch, you can bring the left leg, straighten the left leg and pull on the foot, press, interlace your fingers in front of the sole of the foot and pull the foot towards you. Try not to lift the seat up. If you need to, bring your thumb back to your left hip crease to bring the focus on lengthening the side body and keeping your seat down. Now from here, you bring your knee a little bit further forward so the knee's in front of the shoulder. You see if you can slide your heel right down into your hip crease. Okay, so sometimes if you do it lying down, it's a little bit easier. And then, without forcing, you bring your hand to the back of the knee. You see if you can pull the foot towards your body, the same line as the knee. You might need to bring your knees back a little bit, so you can bring your foot in front of the knee. As this is where it stops, stop, okay? So if you be mindful of your knees, you can stay here and just press into your thighs. You might not have a full lotus, but you're close. Otherwise, if there's no resistance, you slide your heel right in. And then you can pull your thighs towards your body. And the last action here. Bring your knees away a little bit from the body. Press your hands against your thighs. Push the knees towards one another. And this will tighten your lotus. Your feet will come up a little bit more into the hip crease. Bring your hands down, a little bit underneath the seat. And sit up. And you're in lotus. Okay, so just sit in your lotus for a moment. Place your hands on the knees, sit up tall. Inhale, bring the attention from the heart. Breathe from the heart to the third eye. Exhale back down to the heart. Reestablish your connection between you and divinity, the highest self. 3 more times. Inhale, from the heart to the third eye. Exhale, slowly push into your knees in a downward motion. As you inhale, lift the body further out of the hips. Exhale, press down the knees again. And from here, come back, lean back, bring your knees towards your body and release. Shake out the legs, massage the knees. And let's try again on the other side. So you bring your right knee in close to the seat, lean back, and bring the left leg across. So the foot is beyond the edge, beyond the leg. Walk your hands closer and closer in until you can lift your seat right up off the ground. So you're sitting tall, your seat is hovering just above the ground. Inhale, pull the body up out of the hips. Exhale, squeeze your right knee in. As you do this, push the left knee out. So just use your press your knee away from your chest. Inhale again, lift up, exhale, squeeze the right knee in, push the left knee out. Lower the seat down, roll onto your back. Lift the right foot up, lace the left arm in between the legs and clasp your hands behind the right knee. Interlace your fingers and push. Your heel is over the knee. You push your right knee towards you. At the same time, you use your forearm and your elbow to press against the left thigh to push the thigh away from the chest. But your leg will probably end up, your shin will end up across the chest and on the chest for some of you too. Keep dropping the hips down, roll the left thigh down. Take your thumb in the left hip crease and just pull at it, rotate the thigh outwards. Again, if you're more flexible, you can reach for the foot, interlace your fingers or hold the sole of the foot and pull the foot towards the head, roll the right hip down. And from here, bring the legs a little bit away from you. And then bring the left knee towards you so you can see if you can glide your heel down. Guide it right down into your hip crease. And then from here, you push your left knee out a little bit. And you bring your right foot forward. The knee's just on the outside of the shoulder, the right knee. Pull the foot in. And if you can get it on the inside of the leg, you see if you can slide it down as far as you can comfortably. So no pain here. So this is not what you want to offer to bring. You don't want to bring pain or anxiety or restlessness in your mind. It's not the experience you want to offer up to anybody. If you can, you see if you can bring that foot right to sit right in the hip crease. And then you pull the thighs towards you. So hold it against you. Drop all the thighs downward. You can use your thumbs if you like to remind yourself to keep the side body long. Drop the hips. And then bring your knees a little bit away. Push hands into the outsides of the knees. Push the knees towards one another as much as you can so that the feet settle firmly and even further down into your hips. And from here, place your hands down a little bit, just the fingers a little bit underneath the hips so you can roll up to seated. Again, take your hands on the knees. Inhale, sit up tall. Breathe in from the heart to the third eye. Exhale back down to the heart. If you don't have a full lotus, you just sit cross-legged. Okay, or you sit in half lotus, whatever you can manage. A few more times. Press into your knees. Inhale, sit tall. Exhale. Bring that attention back to the heart. Establish yourself in hearts of all beings. Imagine all beings benefiting from this practice. And release. So another approach to getting into lotus, we're going to do pigeon first a little bit just to open up hips a little bit more. So let's start in downward facing dog. Bring the left foot forward between your hands. Lower the back knee down. And here we're going to drop the left knee out to the side. If it hurts the knee, move your foot a little bit more to the right. so you're not straining your knee. Okay, so move your foot more to the right to get your thigh a little bit more aligned with the hip. If you're more flexible, you bring your foot in between your hands and you drop your knee out to the side. It's a little bit of a more intense pigeon pose. Bend the toes under the back foot. Inhale, rise up through the chest. So you can pulse between having the knee up, pushing through the back heel, and dropping the knee towards ground. Do it slow. Inhale, raise the seat. Imagine trying to pull the floor towards you with your hands and your knee, your back knee. Exhale, push back through the heel, extend the knee back, and allow the knee to come down. One last time. Inhale, pull in, round the back. Exhale, push through the back heel, and drop the left knee down. Now, if you're modifying, if you're doing the regular pigeon, that's okay. So you would, if you're more flexible, you'd have your shin more in line with the front end of the mat, more flush, more parallel. If it's too much, however, you bring your foot in. So your front leg is more at an angle and the foot is in front of the right hip. So it's more in this angle as opposed to straight across. Okay, so modify as you need to. We're going to come into your pigeon now, prone pigeon. So whichever variation you have this version with your more open hip. Inhale, lift up through the chest. Exhale, start to make your way down. Walk forward. You can stay on your hands, stay higher if you need to. Come down on the forearms. Come straight down. If your seat is not on the ground, place something underneath it, either a block or sweater, whatever you want. But just try to have the sit bones sitting on something. Okay, so sometimes our pigeon looks a little bit more like this, our hips up. Place something you can press into. Push into the block and extend forward. Okay, whether it's on your forearms or all the way down. It's all good. Move according to your condition. And with your head down, notice how this is a pose that reflects humbleness and surrender. So the more you detach from the expectations and the results, the outcome, the more, and you offer it up, the more it's going to materialize what you're ultimately going for without expectation. You just do your best, and one day, perhaps the body will obey. Use a breath again to just guide you into the pose and to keep you from going, to keep the discomfort manageable. Again, you don't go to the place where you're coming into a place of, you don't go to a place where you're coming into a place of pain. Sorry, I was not in front of the mic. And let's come out of that. From here, let's switch sides. Back into downward facing dog. Bring the right foot between the hands. Test it out here. Bend the toes under in the back foot. See if you can drop your knee to the ground. It's not going to feel necessarily the same as it did on the other side. We'll have imbalances. Just keep working this side that gives you more of a challenge, and maintain when you have the other side so you don't create a bigger imbalance. If you have the flexibility, you drop your knee out to the right with your foot. Your foot is basically in front of the midline of the body. If that's too much, again, you scooch the foot in more to the left, and you bend your leg a little bit more so the heel comes in towards the hip. And then you just work on getting pulse up. Raise your hip, exhale, bring your knee down. Slowly. You have your foot in front of your body, in the middle of the body. You work at trying to get your knee down. Keep your body upright. Lift up the seat. Exhale, push to the back heel, press down to the knee. And coming back, reposition if you need to. If you're okay here, start to make your way down. Lift through the chest and come down. Remember to place something underneath your seat if it's not on the ground. Surrender to the pose. Visualize yourself in the pose. Tap into the consciousness of the pose. In this case, it's surrender, it's humility. Just embody, embrace all those qualities reflected in your pose. And then start to make your way back. And then take your legs out from underneath, your left leg forward, shake out the legs. So we're going to work now, working to eventually work all the areas you need to eventually take your leg behind the head. So pick up the right foot and imagine you're swinging it like a door, taking it out from side to side, across and out to the side and across to the front. And push your hands into the foot, send it back behind you, just underneath your arm. One more time, press back, try to get your knee to the ground behind you and push forward. And now bring the foot all the way back. Bend your left leg if you need to, reach forward, take the 2 peace fingers around the big toe if you can, and do the same with the other one. It's like a bow and arrow. So some of you might be able to extend your leg forward and then pull the foot all the way back. Moving it sideways. You come back like this. Okay. Open up the chest a little bit more. If you can't, you just hold the ankle and just make your modification as you need to. You can hold the outer edge of the foot as well, if that's more comfortable. And release, go to the other side. Take hold of the outer edge of the left foot, swing it out to this side and back and forth. Take hold of the foot, push it back behind you. And one more time, push through the foot and bring it back behind. Now from here, you take your 2 piece fingers around the big toe, bend your knee as much as you need to just take hold of the foot, slide it forward, and then pull the foot back. Or take hold of the ankle, take hold of the edge of the foot, whatever's more comfortable. Try to get your knee as far back behind you as possible. And release. Compass pose. Bring your right leg up again. Take your shoulder in front of the knee. Now push into the back of the knee as much as you can. So you try to get your knee as high as you can by lifting it up from underneath. If you can, you bring your left hand to your heel and push it up. You walk your hand away a little bit to the side and see if you can bring your foot up and back. Your left arm will eventually get over your head. Now, you can do this with a strap too. If your hamstring is tight and you can't quite get your leg back and straight, you take a strap. You take your foot in the strap You place your shoulder in front of the knee, give yourself lots of room, and then you pull the arm up, okay? You try to get your leg as straight as you can and pull the body up out of the hips. The tendency is for people to slouch forward. Try to keep your shoulders back and the side body as free as wrinkles as possible. And then as you can, you start to walk your hands towards the foot bit by bit until eventually you end up taking the foot. Some of you are quite flexible. If you can do this one easily, to get your leg behind the head, you want to push back behind into the back knee again. Try to get the leg as far back. And then, it's easier if you take your outer edge of the foot, reach across the front of the foot, bring your head down a little bit, pull on the foot, you try to get your leg really close to your shoulder. Tuck your chin in. You have to bring the foot to the left a little bit so you can get your foot behind the head. So if you can do this, go ahead. If not, don't worry about it. You just keep working on what you've got. You got this pose here. You can see if you can bring your hands in the heart. Try not to slouch forward again. Keep your shoulders back, your body as high as possible. Those who are quite flexible, option to come forward. Bring your forehead to your shin. So that's another option. Okay, so I'm giving lots of different possibilities to people who are more flexible and people who are a little bit more limited. Be content regardless of where you're at. We'll eventually pass through all the bodies that are flexible and all that are maybe not as such. Take a few more breaths here, wherever you're at. And release. The other leg now, working a compass. Bring your left leg up, move the left shoulder in front, and just push, lean forward a little bit so you can get a good connection between the back of the shoulder and the knee, and push up into the back of the knee. Raise it up higher than the shoulder if you can. And then reground the left sit bone so that you're stable. And then see if you can get your foot to come up. Using your hand, using your strap. Take the shoulder back, press the back of the shoulder, try to get the leg as far back behind the head as possible, behind the body as possible. Remember to sit tall, the body starts to hunch. Keep on lifting up so you take the wrinkles out of the side body. And of course, if you are able to, if you want to try getting your leg behind your head, if you feel the freedom there, you bring your leg close in, bring the foot behind the head, tucking your chin and pulling the foot towards the right, and then placing your foot behind the head. If you can, sit up tall, bring your hands together. If you want to fold forward to experience that, go ahead. Work progressively. Nice. That's the idea. And then you want to try to bring your arm over your head, okay? That's the idea, okay? Good. Beautiful. Push a little bit more with your shoulder, Paula. That's it. Try to push a little bit more with your shoulder so that the leg goes a little bit further back behind your head. Yeah, and then you're going to be very close to getting your leg behind the head. Yeah. And let's start to make our way out. Mindfully come back. So this one's an easy one, Tolasana. Bring your feet out in front, soles your feet together, a little bit of a longer base. Allow knees to drop out to the side, interlace your fingers. Reach over the head, your hands in Kali Mudra, with your palms open, however. And reach forward as far as you can and slip your hands over the toes. Just use your forearms to press against the shins so they come down, the knees come down. And then rest your forehead on your feet, or it doesn't go down to your feet, just bring your head down. Round your back, push the belly button towards the back of the body, towards it, and create fullness in the back of the body. Come back up. Walk your feet a little bit further apart, Karmasana, or modification. You bring your feet out, your soles of your feet are facing forward, slip your arms underneath, and just hold the outer edge of the feet. Bring the forehead down and stay there. If this is where your limit is, if you're more flexible, you can try Karmasana. Your feet are a little bit more hips apart, not much more. Shift to one side and slip the arm of the so slip to the right, slide your left arm underneath the leg, and then bend your left elbow, try the other side. Your hands, your arms should be close to your hips. And then you just slide your heels forward. Your legs come down close to the shoulders on top of the arms. If you come down closer to the elbows, it's going to aggravate the elbows. If your elbows are free, you can wave your arms around. You might be able to take your arms over the back and bind your hands over your back. Now, your attention, once you're down, is at the base of the spine. Bring your attention there. Imagine all the blood rushing there. More breaths. Couple more breaths here. Slowly make your way back out. Come back up. Good. All right. So a lot of these poses are very similar, except they're in different orientations. So to get into yoga, sleeping yogi, legs behind, both feet behind the head, you can, it's a lot like, doing the compass pose and trying to get your leg behind your head when you're seated, but sometimes on the back is a little bit easier. So you lie down on your back, start off with ankle grasp. Slide your left foot in, so your foot's flat on the ground, your knee is up, and bring the right foot up. Take hold of the ankle and bring the right knee onto the shoulder, the right shoulder. Now then you try to pull at the foot to try to get the foot closer to the head. This is pretty easy for you. Extend the left leg flat out in front. You're very flexible. You can see if you can allow your leg to slip a little bit to the right. And then try to bring your foot towards the ground so the foot ends up beside your head. keep pushing out through the left heel. And pull on the right heel. Trying to get the heels as far away from one another as possible. So it's a lot like Hanumanasana, except in another orientation. And now, a couple more breaths. Going to work towards half happy baby pose. So you take hold of the edge of the foot and you drop the knee down on the along the outside of the body, underneath the arm. Your heel is over the knee. Your thigh is coming towards the ground or on the ground. So if I was lying down on my back, it would look like this. Okay. And of course, you can bring your left foot in again and have your knee up. That's the idea. Good. Press on the outside edge of the foot. And then from here, so there's options here, depending on your flexibility. You can bring your right hand to the inside edge of the foot and just see if you can pull the foot towards the ground. And this will look sort of like ballet pose. You can extend your left leg as well. So there's that option. If you're more flexible, you can work at trying to get your leg behind your head again. So you keep your foot where it is, but you move your right shoulder in front of the leg, so your shoulder's holding down, is pressing against the back of the knee. Again, you try to lift, pull your shoulder up higher so the knee comes up higher. And then again, you try to bring your right foot towards the ground behind your head, slide your left foot in if you need to, even raise your whole leg up off the ground. An upside down table. I personally like to have the left foot flat on the ground, and then you can slip your hand underneath the seat as you try to get your foot behind your head on the ground or above your head. Looks like compass pose, sort of. Now, if you want to go the full way into getting your leg behind your head, you push down in your right hand that's beside your hip. You lift your upper back up off the mat, your shoulders and your head. You pull on the foot again. You draw the knee close to the shoulder. You pull the foot towards the left, tuck your chin in, and you might be able to get your foot behind the head. You can keep your left foot flat on the ground or try to extend the leg. Might not be that your foot comes onto the ground. Your leg might float. That's okay. Just work with, again, where you're at. Requires quite a bit of flexibility to try to get both the left leg flat on the ground and fully extended. All right. Now, come out of the pose slowly, always in a mindful way. Try it on the other side now. Rest in between, take a couple breaths, lying in Shavasana, breathe in, breathe out, remove all tension, all effort. Now slide your right foot in, bring your left leg up, take hold of the ankle and bring the left knee onto your left shoulder. And then again, pull on the ankle, try to get your foot closer to the head. As you see fit, you can extend the right leg straight out. You're very flexible. Try to pull the foot right down to the ground beside your head. It looks like an upside down split, Hanumanasana. And then come back to half happy baby pose. So bend the knee, the heel is over the knee, and just allow the thigh to slip down onto the ground or towards the ground beside the body. The knee is just underneath the armpits. Hold down the foot with one hand or both hands. Slide your right foot in again if you need to. Keep it there the whole time if you like, with your foot flat on the ground. If this is not doing too much for you, you can take hold of the inner edge of the foot and take your foot down to the ground. And extend the right leg. And hold yourself down with your right hand. Bring the right hand out so it looks like ballet pose. On the ground. Those who are more flexible can try to get now with your leg and half happy baby. Bring your left shoulder in front of the left knee. Use the shoulder to hold the leg down. Push into the back of the knee. Raise, lift the left shoulder so the left knee comes up higher than the shoulder. Slide your right foot in or lift the foot right off the ground, upside down table. And then pull the foot back again, like you're doing compass pose. Pull the foot towards the ground behind the head. Eventually, if you want to go into, bring your leg behind the head, lift your shoulders up off the mat, tuck your chin in, move your leg closer in towards the body. Pull on the foot, tug on the foot, you have to bring it towards the right, and so you can get the foot behind your head. You can use a strap for all of these. And then see if you can extend the right leg if you're deep in the pose. Try to extend the right leg. Try to get the leg flat on the ground. If it doesn't come on the ground, don't worry about it. Now come back out of the pose, release. Just bring your knees, slide your feet in close to your hips, and just allow your knees to rock from one side to the other. Keep your feet flat on the ground on the outside of the hips. It's like windshield wipers, sort of. You bring your feet wide, edges of the feet against the edges of the mat, and then just drop your knees over to the right and all the way back up and over to the left. Right, we're home in the home stretch here. Sleeping yogi, yoga nidra. My mind's blanking here. Okay, let's go into happy baby pose first. Take hold of the outer edge of the feet, and just one knee at a time, try to get them down onto the ground beside the body. Now, if this is where you're at, you can stay here. You can rock from side to side, massage the spine. This is all great. All still good at just bringing some openness in the hips. If you're more flexible, you can try to get your shoulders again in front of the knees. Put your hands underneath the seat and see if you can press into the backs of the knees. Okay. Now, if you want to, this is all easy for you, quite flexible. Lift your head, pull your feet up. So again, your shoulders are behind your knees or in front of your knees. Push into the backs of the knees. Lift the shoulders up as high as you can. Cross your feet. And then you have to kind of pull on the legs a little bit, lengthen the legs, tuck your chin in, and see if you can slip your feet behind the head. And then your shoulders, you push the back of the shoulders. Again, be mindful of your shoulders, of course. Lift your seat up, push into your fingertips, get your seat up, and if you can join your hands with the earth if you find the reach. If not, you can take a strap. Hold on to the strap. And then if you make it into this pose, you can start your Soham meditation. Inhale from the heart space to the third eye and back. This is a very powerful pose, and it establishes a deeper connection with the divine. I am you, you are me, I am that I am. Feel free to stay in your happy baby, of course. So everything, again, progressions towards what is possible for you without any attachments to the results. Just do your best. Make it an offering. Beautiful. Nice, Sylvia. All right. Now, good stuff. Start to make your way out slowly. Do it mindfully. Try not to explode out of your poses. If you're straining, you know, it's going to be hard to make a nice quiet exit. You want to try to make the entry, the hold, and the exit as elegant and as smooth as possible so you're not disturbing the witness who's watching. Good. And now again, you bring, just going to some final twists, back to the windshield wipers. Take your arms out to the side. Slide your feet in close to the hips, but then walk your feet out to the edges of the mat. So the edges of your feet, outside edges of the mat, are in line with the edges of the hip, edges of the mat. And then bring your knees all the way over to the right. Keep your shoulders flat on the ground if you can. So your knees are all the way to the right. If you want, you can bring your right foot up and rest your foot on the outside of the left knee, and just use a foot to hold the knee down and try to get the right knee back to the ground as well. Think lengthening of the thighs. Now come back to the center. Go to the other side. Adjust your feet. If your feet start to stray inwards, walk your feet out so the edges of the feet in line with the outer edges of the feet in line with the edges of the mat. Drop the knees over to the left. Direct the knees towards the front end of the mat, the end that's far away from you. And then, if you want, you can raise your left foot up and rest the foot on top of the outside of the right leg, the thigh. And see if you can get the left knee down again. Release. Shavasana. Bring your legs out in front, open up the feet, hands come a little closer to the body, palms facing up, feet falling outwards. Imagine now the best of the best coming into the body, like waves coming in onto the beach, onto the sand. The waves roll in, bring in all the benefits of the practice, bring in everything you need from the universe to feel fulfilled, to feel content, love, health, security, whatever it may be, confidence. Keep bringing it into the body. And like the waves retracting, going back out into the ocean, allow it to take out anything that does not serve you. Any kind of negativity, any kind of pain or suffering, whatever brings you pain or suffering, just allow those waves to carry it back out. Repeat to yourself the following auto-suggestion mentally 3 times. My compassion is ever expanding. Compassion is the driving force behind all action, thought, and deed. And when we act in compassion in a way that doesn't bring harm to any being, when we act in a way that tries to exemplify offering in everything that we do, thinking beyond our own needs, not playing to our senses, and being in the mindset of being of service to others. This is a transformational force that allows us to make rapid progress and steady progress. Now, with that ingrained in our hearts and our minds, let's prepare to carry that into the world, off the mat, into our daily lives. Start to prepare to come back from Shavasana in a way that is mindful and gentle and reverent. Come back, bring your awareness back to the body, feel it awaken. And once you're ready, make your way back to a seated position, always moving in a way that is mindful, that is gentle. Sitting tall and supreme. Close the practice with Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Instill the peace within and send it out to all beings. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Be receptive to the divine grace within. Namaste. Thank you so very much for coming and participating. It's such an honor to meet all you and to see all your lovely practices. Thank you so much. If you want, you can unmute yourself, and you don't have to, of course. But thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.